You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello and welcome. We are so happy to have you with us here, wherever you are in the world. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. You are watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn in the Name of Love. I am your host, executive producer, director, and broadcast engineer. And who's in the house with me today? Kimmy Seltzer, my co-host. Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. We both have like different hairdos, right?
Yes, you do have a different hairdo.
I do. Well, I have to say, so I have my big ultimate flirt masterclass tonight, and I used this as an opportunity to get all dolled up, right? And so I have this great new hair. Well, I don't know if it's so new. It's a hair dryer by Revlon. I don't know if you've seen it. So it dries and straightens hair all in one. It's the best. And so I haven't used it in a really long time. And I did that and I got my nails done.
Woo! She's rocking the house. Look out.
Yeah, beautified and ready to rock and roll.
I love it. I love it. Kimmy, I want to hear all the things that you're doing. I want to let you know you met her backstage. We have an incredible guest today. This woman is so accomplished. She's touching so many lives. So I can't wait to have her out here, Leora Leon. But let's spotlight you and tell us what you're doing.
Yeah. I'm really excited about the guest and the topic today because it's so true. It's like when you focus on you, that's when other people really love you too. And it is about the self-love, but sometimes people don't know how to get there. And I'm really excited about this class tonight because although it's named the Ultimate Flirt Masterclass, there's so much more. So I'm super excited about it because it's for men and women. We're getting everybody in the room and we're just not talking about it, but we're really practicing it. And I'm going to teach my 3 secret ingredients to flirting, which many people don't think about, that there's actual ingredients and tangible things you can do to feel more confident in your skin, inside and out, so that you can attract people to you wherever you go. And that's both for men and women. And it's going to be tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So there are still spots, but it's limited. And I think we just have a few left. So you can grab it if you want to come. It's eliteimagemakovers.com/flirting. And you can see that on the banner as well.
And as they say, act now, because
act now.
Limited. Okay, we are going to bring in our guests. We have a couple of comments. Vanessa, hello, dear. How are you? Vanessa is wonderful, and she's actually made the introduction to Leora. We also have on Twitch, hello there. Hello to you. And we have, yes, she is amazing. And it's all about confidence. So let us wait no longer. Joining us from Los Angeles, we have Leora Leon. She is an author, a television host, divine path life coach, past life regression therapist, shaman, Reiki healer. Here she is. She's doing it all. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's good to see you in red, by the way. Kimmy always talks about the importance of wearing red.
Especially when you're blonde. It's a powerful combo.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. So, Leora, we were talking backstage. You're an author. You've touched so many people's lives in different ways. And your tagline really is the power in you. Can you share a little bit about what that means to you and what you want our audience to understand about that?
Well, and listening to what Kimmy was saying, about the flirting and having the confidence, the powers, we have power in ourselves. Everything from, spiritual, mental, physical. We have all of the powers that are at our beck and call. All we have to do is utilize them. And when we're using all of our powers at their optimum, we have confidence. We have the self-love that I talk about. So working at the optimum in your spiritual, meditating every day, keeping yourself in that vibration of love and that up feeling. Also taking care of your body the best that you can, body, mind, spirit, taking care of your mind, feeding your mind positive information all the time. And then going a step further and looking at your thoughts, your words, and your actions, and keeping those in the vibration of love, the vibration of being the best that you can be. So that's kind of what the Powers in You is about, tapping into your superpowers. And we all have them.
Well said. You also have a new book coming out, Laura's Animal Adventure, I Love Being Me. And you shared with me backstage. I think it's so important to mention this, that your book, we're not going to give away the whole context of the book, but it's basically whatever age you are, loving who you are, where you are.
Right. And this book is, it's a little children's book. And basically, it's been on my to-do list for a long time. And it's called Little Laura's Animal Adventure, I Love Being Me. And the book's premise is about this little girl who lives with her grandmother. And she doesn't live in a typical, a house with a mother and a father. And she kind of longs for that and is lonely and unhappy. She ends up going on this adventure and becoming different animals. And then at the end, after all of this, one animal after another, and it's kind of, a little scary, she ends up becoming a badger to scare a snake away. And then she's tired and she's hungry. And so as a badger, she starts digging for worms. But then she realizes, I don't want worms. I want to be Laura. I want to be me. And so she turns back into herself and runs home and tells her grandmother, Grandma, I love you. And I love our house on the beach. And I love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And most of all, I love being me. So, too often we see what other people have and we think that's happiness. Because people, social media, everybody's showing the best of the best. They show their boyfriends and they're all in love, or they show themselves on vacation, which is great. But what you have right in front of you is beautiful and it is perfect. And if you don't like it, then you have the opportunity to change. And how you do that is by changing yourself, changing your vibration, being at the optimum of body, being at the optimum of your mind, and being at the optimum of spirit. That's loving yourself.
Yes. And I think people should purchase your book. Where can they find it?
It's on Amazon right now, and it is #1 new release. So it's a children's book, and so if you have children or grandchildren, it's a really cute book, and it's going to be a series of many other books about little Laura's adventures. The next one we're going to deal with ocean pollution. So I'm going to have a bunch of series, but the book that I really want to talk about is the book called The Powers in You, which is coming out in September. And it's a workbook. And it started out to be, a regular book. I was going to have a workbook attached, but the way that we are now as people, our attention span is super minimal, like we can read a sentence and then we get bored. So what I've done with this book is I've put the workbook and the information together, and 95% of it is based on science. So it gives you all of the material from a step-by-step basis for 4 weeks to change and transform your life. And so I'm really looking forward. I'm working on that, and hopefully in September that book will be out.
Well, good luck with it. That sounds really exciting too. It sounds like everything you're doing is around loving yourself, appreciating yourself, giving yourself grace.
I love that. I'm going to be giving both your books. And this is kind of funny. The children's book, I think, is good for adults, to be honest. Like, I would give that to my clients as much as the workbook I think is going to be awesome. I think like that pair is going to be great. Because a lot of my clients, when they go out there and dating, they're doing exactly what you said. Like they're so worried about what other people think and feel and not about what they want and what they feel. And so I often say, it's time to get a little selfish, and it raises a lot of hairs, and like, what does that mean? And it's usually because we're giving. And because of that, we attract lopsided relationships. We attract fixer-uppers or narcissists or whatever, the people that we serve, and we don't get anything back. But really, it starts with you. And when you start filling yourself up, that's when you start attracting kind of more that even ground. So I love your message. I think it relates to relationships and love, because so many people are focused on the man or the woman and not them.
It changes your perspective completely when you are comfortable in your own skin, when you can sit in yourself. So, for example, I had breast cancer and I had the fake boobs put on and I got sick. So I had to have them taken off. So just when I thought that I had loved myself completely, I had to learn, and I'll pan down. You can see I'm totally flat chested. So as a woman, I had to go to another level of loving myself, feeling comfortable in my skin. And believe me, when I first started going out after the procedure and I had nothing, I put my clothes on and, I make a joke and my daughter says it's not socially acceptable, but I look like Ellen. And I was like upset because I was more like a voluptuous woman before that. But the fact was that I wasn't myself, and I was basing my worth, my self-worth on the outside. And I had to step back and reevaluate myself. You're teaching people how to love yourself, and yet you're judging yourself because, and the thing about it is I survived. I survived breast cancer, and I'm here to talk about it. I survived autoimmune, and I'm here to talk about it. So I am at a point where I'm always learning. And that's the thing, we're always learning. We're learning how to love ourselves enough, connect to the divine being of who we actually are out of this physical reality. And so I have tools that I use every day for that. And one of them is meditating, connecting to who I am out of this physical realm and bringing down that God force. And that's one of my superpowers. The next is keeping my body at its optimum. And that is eating anti-inflammatory foods, exercising to the capacity that I can, that doesn't tire me out. And then in my mind, I'm constantly feeding my mind with positive imagery, reading about things that keep me up and keep me happy. So we can feel comfortable. We don't have to feel gratitude from the outside because it's in the inside. And my goal is to have people see me and see what is inside. When we're dating, we see what we want to see. We want people to be. But I want people to see rather than just what's on the outside. And I know we have to be attracted to other people, but I want, when you meet somebody, 50% of that is who they are, their physical. The other 50% is who they have been in your lives before, your ancestral incarnations. So that's something that's really cool too, is that energy that we carry. So we clean up the energy in this physical reality, and then we start to clean up the energy from our incarnational ancestry as well.
Leora, thank you so much for being so transparent about, having breast cancer. And that is, the fact that you just shared that is amazing. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, no, because with that, I just think you have been on such an amazing journey, and like you've overcome a lot. And I think a lot of people would, really just kind of give up. What were some steps that you took? I know you just went through like the meditation and the body work and that kind of thing. But what would you say to someone who's in it, like that real low point, who can't get up, who can't meditate, who can't like even get started? Like, what are some motivating things that you did for yourself?
Well, too, the thing, I've had to overcome a million things, an extreme childhood and then growing up from that extreme. I just recently lost my son of 25 years. He had autism, and he died from complications, because of meds. But I was in that point, and I've been in that point many times where I didn't want to keep going. But what I do and what I do now, and even now when I have moments of depression, um, and everybody does. There's not a person on this planet that doesn't go through periods of depression. And Oprah, anybody, we all do. But the thing is, Tony Robbins, we just don't live there. So we accept it, we feel it, and then we move on. Then we get to a place where, okay, what is this teaching me? Even my son's death taught me something. It taught me more self-love, because when he was in my life, he fulfilled me with so much love. And when he died, I ended up having this loss, that there wasn't that love coming in anymore. He wasn't holding space for me anymore in the physical. And I went up and down, but I had to go back to the basics that I know that keep me going. And that is connecting to my superpowers. And what my superpowers are body, mind, and spirit. And so I would meditate every day, even through chemo and even through radiation. I meditated every day so that it would help heal me. And after my son passed, I went through the same thing. I knew that connecting to that divine energy would help carry me through it. And I call it being in the muck. When we're in the muck, even the best of the best, Dalai Lama, when he's in the muck, and probably doesn't get there much, very often, but when you are in the muck and you don't know where to go, and you're a teacher and you don't know how to teach, and because you want to be authentic, you just do baby steps and you follow what you know is good for you. Meditation, I tell everybody to meditate, and that doesn't mean being in your garden thinking of clearing your mind. It means closing your eyes for 20 minutes and shutting down all of those tabs and connecting to who you are, pulling that energy in. And it means taking care of yourself, not going for the ice cream or the brownies because you feel depressed. And it's okay to do it once in a while, but train yourself to where you know what is going to be good. If I eat brownies, what's that going to happen to, for me especially? It causes inflammation and it gives me headaches. So I've got to watch what I eat so that physically I stay aligned. And then mentally, what do I do to feed my brain? How do I keep myself in a positive attitude? So going through baby steps, taking little baby steps. If you want to start exercising, just go out and start walking a little bit. Just do something every day. And if you have a day that you don't feel like doing it, don't beat yourself up. If you have a day you feel like eating a chocolate. Yesterday I ate a chocolate bar. It had beet sugar, but still it was chocolate. And I started to go to that place where that you shouldn't be doing that. And I had to pull back, and I'm like, no, you know what? It's okay, because I take care of my body on a full-time basis, so I can enjoy a little bit. Does that make sense to you guys? Does that resonate?
Yes, that makes perfect sense. I'm hearing myself. One for you.
Yeah, me too.
Something I wanted to ask you, and by the way, I'm very sorry about your son. I just can't believe all the things that you've gone through. And you mentioned something at the beginning. When we first met, before I heard some of your story about your son, you look at you, you're a beautiful woman. You've got beautiful painting picture behind you. And people just assume, oh, she has everything. And you just shared with us your breast cancer, you lost your son. There's some other things. What does a person do with the anger? Because there has to be anger when you get a diagnosis or you have a loss. And sometimes people can't get through the anger. They can't even meditate because they're so mad. What would you suggest?
You have to allow yourself feelings. You can't. I used to tell people, I used to say, there is an exercise that I use, and I used it when I was younger, and the love of my life broke up with me, and he kept coming in my head, and I was losing weight, I was feeling bad, and I went to the psychologist, and there was a book called Feeling Good, and it was printed in the 80s, and it talked about this exercise that I use with my clients, and it's called the stop. And so what you have to do is literally stop yourself from going to that path. You can feel and emote and let yourself get angry, hit pillows, do whatever you do, go to a shooting range and shoot, apples, whatever it is that how you release it, allow yourself to release it, because that's what we're all about. We're about releasing energy. We're about releasing, anger, pain, sorrow, depression. That is us getting rid of energy. So allow yourself to go through it, but let it go and then start doing the work that will help you get through it. And for me, the work is taking care of myself in a way that I know makes me feel better, and the tools that I use. So, someone that's angry about losing someone in their life, through divorce or whatever, let yourself feel and let yourself emote. And then you say, okay, universe, this horrible feeling's coming over me. Please let it be expedient. I know that I have to go through this. In the meantime, I'm going to take baby steps to get out of this feeling. I'm going to start doing little things that I know. It could be cleaning your kitchen, or it could be going through your sock drawer for men, or, putting all your ties in a color range. So whatever it is, you can feel those emotions, but you can't stay there. You can't live there. When you do, it becomes counterproductive and you keep going lower and lower. So get help, go talk to someone, but do the work. You have every capability inside of you to do what you need to do. Meditation is the best thing. And people say they can't meditate even when they're angry. You can. It may take a while to go under, when you start, maybe thinking about that person and you're angry or whatever, and you're going, and little by little it dissipates, and little by little you start shutting down these tabs. Meditation, and this is backed by science, is one of the most powerful tools for every type of energy that we want to release. So take baby steps, release the energy, but start doing things that help you, that you feel good about, and meditate.
Well,
I love what you said.
meditation. I got certified during the pandemic to be a meditation coach, and I know,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I still have a lot of times feelings come up for me. It used to be on a Monday, I might feel just a little sad. I don't know why, maybe because I worked all weekend, and I allow myself to feel it, and I'll say, you've got 10 minutes, okay? Boo-hoo. That's the end. And if it starts to come up again, I'm like, no, we had you for 10 minutes. That's it. You're gone. So either of you did. Yeah.
And that's what successful people do.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and the thing is, and I love what you said, is to allow yourself to feel, because, as a therapist, I know that like grieving layers upon itself. And if you don't address it and feel it, and you just skip over it and you numb out and you're just, trying to do something else to distract you, it's gonna come back. Like you might break a pencil and have a complete meltdown and you're like, why is this getting me so angry? And I think it's so true. It is about balance though, because I've seen both, where like I just had a client where I was working with, and she was in total shutdown mode, and she kept saying, I'm not ready to date again. I'm healing. Okay. It's been 2 years of healing and not enough moving. And so I think you really do have to look at both things of allowing yourself to feel, but also take those baby steps to move.
Right. I think moving is key. Leora, I also want to talk about, you've got a number of ways that you can work with people. So first of all, people can read your books. And again, to Kimmy's point, even a children's book has a lot of pertinent information for adults. But you also have other skills in terms of being a life coach, a shaman, a Reiki master. So for those who don't know what those things are, can you just share with us how you, as a shaman, as a Reiki master, as a life coach, how you incorporate those things to help people love themselves?
Yeah, and I'm sorry if you hear the gardeners. Of course, I never do interviews on Wednesday because the gardeners are here. But I have always been intuitive and psychic, and since I was a little girl, I read cards for people. I knew when babies were going to come and all this other stuff, and so my whole life I've been intuitive. And then I went through a lot of spiritual healing in the 80s, and enough to where I could get married and want children. But then, when you're a mom, you end up focusing all of your energy on everybody else but you, and you start to bottom out. And then having a son with autism, and marriage was going on, and all those fun things. And so I one day, and this is going to sound so weird, I was eating a tostada with my husband, and life would just seem like crap. And this is going to sound crazy, but all of a sudden I go to eat this tostada, and a wolf comes out of my mouth and and I'm like, oh my God. And I had been starting spiritual stuff a little bit here and there. And I thought, okay, I'm losing my mind. I've been getting headaches and things. And I thought, this is it. So I take another bite, and sure enough, this wolf comes out. And I'm like, okay, this is it. So I call my girlfriend, who's a psych nurse, and she's like, you need a CAT scan. And I'm like, yeah, all right. Well, anyhow, I end up connecting with this shaman. And he says to me, when the wolf comes to you, he said, that is a sign of, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing in your life? And he said, are you? And I said, absolutely not. And he goes, what would you like to do? And I said, I'd like to be a healer. I can see things, and I can, envision things. And so he's like, well, you can do this and this and that. So I started studying with him, and I studied for over a year with over 1,000 hours of clinical education with him. And I became a shaman. And in the middle of my shaman training is when I developed stage 3 breast cancer. Now, my entire life, I thought I was going to die at age 56. And 2 weeks before my birthday, in the middle of my shaman training, that's when I get this thing, stage 3 breast cancer. And instead of, had I not been on this spiritual path, I probably would have said, okay, because it was in my lymph nodes. It was a big mess. And I said, no, you know what? I am going to do what I need to do, and I'm going to buckle down, get it taken care of. And so I did. And look at my hair. My hair is bugging me. So anyhow, so I get that taken care of. And then I'm telling this teacher, teach me everything you know. And I start meditating, and I'm connecting to these high vibrational beings, and they're giving me information. And it's just like, whoa, my whole life changes. So then I become a Reiki master, and then I start channeling, and I start doing all these things. Well, the best thing was, I shouldn't say the best, but about 5 years ago, I went to see Dr. Brian Weiss, who wrote Many Lives, Many Masters. And so my girlfriend took me, and we're sitting right up front, and I'm like, yeah, this can be great. He starts to do a group past life regression. And immediately I go under, and I see myself as this little cherub Roman girl with 3 nursemaids around making me happy. And then he regresses us to be older. And there I am, this beautiful, Roman woman. And the next thing I know, this person's coming. Well, this person, I recognize him as someone who was in this life. And I'm looking at him, and he's the love of my life in Roman times. The next scene, we're in his village, and we're about to get married. Well, in ride the barbarians, and my current husband is leading the barbarians. And I always joke, I'm surprised that he could lead anybody. But anyhow, just a little joke. He sends in one of his henchmen, and the guy comes over, makes us bend over, and chops our head off. And so then I go in another life. What is so monumental about this is my entire life, I had neck pain. And the guy, Kelly, who was in my life, my Roman life with me, he had neck pain too. He died last year, and he always said, oh, give me a past life regression. I went to lunch, and I'm like, my neck pain is gone. So that through the course of it, I said, I'm going to go study with this man. So I went to Omega in New York, and I studied with him for 7 days, and him and his wife, and I became a past life regression therapist. And what's so amazing about this is that, and I talked about this earlier, when you meet somebody, you're only seeing 50% of who they really are on this life. But the other 50% that you're seeing is their incarnational ancestry. I know, and I've met you guys probably in another life. This whole earth, we've all had all of these lifetimes. And so not only are we carrying all the stuff from our childhood all the way through, like we're carrying this bag of rocks, then we're carrying this stuff from all these different lifetimes. So it's really cool. So that's one of my favorite therapies for my clients, is doing a past life regression. And everybody goes under. And it's a meditation, basically, that you go into a theta state and you start remembering all these things. The people that I've had the most difficult time regressing are people that were in the military or police officers. And that's because they're always flight or flight. They're always aware. But past life regression, not only, seeing what life you have and how it correlates with this life, it changes your life because you're releasing energy. In your dreams, you release energy all day long. And I was going to tell you, Dr. Jacalyn, maybe on Monday is a day when you release energy, because we're releasing energy all the time. If you ever had a period where all of a sudden you just feel sad and you have no reason why, or you have a thought, you're releasing layers of that energy. So I don't know if I answered your question. I went off on a tangent, but
Yes, definitely. That definitely answered my question. I was so engaged, I forgot to take us to commercial.
She was like a commercial. I was so engaged too.
Yes, I know. It's incredible. I want to talk to you when we come back about your clients. You mentioned people that have had difficulty regressing, but you work with a broad group of people, and I want to make sure that our audience knows how they can work with you. And we'll discuss that when we come back. Stay with us.
Okay.
Networking sucks and people suck at it, but nothing gives me more life than walking around and talking to people in an audience and really being able to identify, okay, I see where you're having trouble, let's work on fixing it. How do you help them? How do you provide value? My goal is to give them those tools to be able to go out and tackle that fear. Anywhere there's coffee is where I'll be. So I bring candy a lot to my speaking engagements. Like, of course that makes sense. I'm a little unconventional.
Ashley was very knowledgeable.
Very entertaining.
I learned a few new things, and to me that's the key.
What do you want them to say? How do you want to be perceived? You're going to get the most direct, tactical tips and practical takeaways when it comes to networking. These two here are super important. You'll remember once the conversation starts.
I love the tips that she gave out. I hate networking with a passion, so I feel like I can go to a meeting or event and not feel so uncomfortable.
When you're going to a presentation, you want to be educated. You also want to be entertained.
She was really fun and really personable, and everything she was saying was just very relatable.
She's got a lot of great ideas.
That will make you stand out so fast.
She comes across as someone that likes what they do and just doesn't try to sell you something.
Activity breeds results. If you're not doing anything, you're not going anywhere.
Just made me want to start networking, which I never thought I'd say before.
A networking strategy that works for you.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Welcome back, everyone. You're watching Talking with Dr. Jacalyn in the Name of Love with my co-host Kimmy Seltzer and our guest Leora Leon. We have touched on many subjects today so far, and Leora, you've really provided great great content and messaging for our audience. I want to talk a little bit about how you work with your clients, what that actually looks like. And then I know you do a number of courses and certifications. If you could speak to us about that as well.
Yeah, so I do a number of things, healings and past life regressions, and then also certifying people in automatic writing and divine path coaching. I created a program called Divine Path Life Coach, and people can get certified. And basically, it utilizes all of my curriculum from a program that I developed called Love Yourself and Change Your Life. And you combine that with my coaching background, and you can get certified in that. And then the healing modalities. And, before COVID, I did a lot of that where it was physical, where I would do shaman, singing bowls, healings. And those were really nice because I align the person and I help them release any energy that no longer serves them. And that would take, about 45 minutes. And when you're finished, you just feel amazing and lighter. But the best modality that I love using is past life regression, because that way someone can go into a past life and they can release energy that they need to release. For example, one of my clients was having a lot of issues with men she was dating, and she would feel very insecure sexually and things like that. And I ended up doing this past life regression with her, and I did several with her because she was able to go under. But we went back to her childhood and found out that she had been molested by a babysitter's sister. And then we went back further, and we went into 2 or 3 different lives. And every single life, one, she was in a harem. The other was she was in a sex trade and someone saved her. And I mean, she was sobbing throughout the whole thing, but coming out of it, she had released all of that energy and understood why in this current life there were so many difficulties with, being sexual with men and finding the relationship that was comforting and soothing. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sorry. Yes, I thought you. Yes, no, that definitely answers my question. Thank you. And for people who are listening on the radio, what is the best way to get in touch with you if they can't read the banner?
Yeah, they can go on leoraleon.com. That's my website, and there they can see all the information that they need to. They can connect to a Calendly link and set up times for whatever type of activity they want to do.
And you're also over on Clubhouse. Tell us about what you're doing there.
Yeah, and I could be on there a million hours a day, because you guys know that it's like super hot right now. But oh my gosh! But yeah, I mean, there are people that are literally on there all day long. And, if you have the energy and the free time, you can do that. But I do a couple different things on Clubhouse. I do past life regressions. And then I do, I'm on with different women. And I was on with this show called Two Mediums and a Shaman. And we would do intuitive work for people who say, this is going on. What do you think? And then each of us would give messages, what was coming to us. So, and then I sometimes just go on to talk about, what I like to talk about. So I'm going to get you on, Dr. Jacalyn. We're going to talk about your new book.
Yes, I do. On that would be great. I have kind of a funny story. I was on a Zoom call yesterday with one of my coaches, and she said, "What is that noise?" And I said, "I'm really sorry." I said, "I parked myself in a Clubhouse room, and I don't want to leave because I don't want to be disrespectful." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "It's a silent room, and then you have 30 seconds, and they get to the introduction." She's like, "You have to let that go." I'm like, "I know, but they made me a moderator, and I feel bad leaving." She's like, "No, you have to let it go." So I was hiding the phone because, even though you turn the volume all the way down, I was like hiding the phone. I'm like, this is insane. Let it. I went, leave quietly. It's just
that's why it's labeled leave quietly.
Right, where you have a meeting going on and you're on Clubhouse and you're trying to listen to that and be attentive, and then no, it's crazy.
Exactly. We have a comment. can also find you on Instagram. Your link on your account has everything. Okay, I wish we knew who that was. I don't know if it's Vanessa or not, because I think she was on LinkedIn before.
Well,
but
whoever it is knows my information, and thank you.
Thank you very much. And again, your books we can get where?
Amazon. I've got 2 books out, A Sand Foundation, which is a fictional novel of my life story. And then my new book is Little Laura's Animal Adventure, I Love Being Me, and both on Amazon.
And we can find the book under the folklore section. Is that right?
Yeah, just a children's book. Yeah. And that's a good, I was trying to do that thing on Amazon where you can get a #1 bestseller. And I ended up failing miserably. But somehow through me picking the right, genre, it popped it up to, where it is now. So it's a good thing. I deserve it.
Yes,
you do. And more so. I'll be sending some of my clients to your books as well, for sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So thank you again for being here. And I do want to connect with you. So I'll be reaching out. And Kimmy, I don't know if you want to be involved or not, but we can talk about it. So
I would love it. I'm in the works of a book. So I'm like looking at you ladies as like my idol. So one day I'm hoping that'll be next.
Well, I kind of feel, and Leora, tell me what you think, but now that I got the first book under my belt, I feel like I started 2 others. I might go back to them once I get some other things out of the way. You can only do so many things at one time.
Yeah, you have to get one. Like I wanted to get the children's book out of the way so I can go on to Powers in You, and then it'll be the one about my son. So we kind of have to, that's the way I work too. I want to get it finished and get it completed and then move on to the next thing. And so I've got some really good contacts for both of you. Well, your book's already published, Dr. Jacalyn, but Kimmy, if you're interested, I've got some really good contacts. So.
Oh, that's awesome. They should have you. Well, and I was going to say, I'll have you on my Amazon live show, and then you can promote your book there too. So we'll definitely talk.
All right. Awesome.
See, it works. I love it. It's fabulous. All right. Thank you again for being here. By the way, we'd love to have you in one of our other programs. So Vanessa, if you want to look into that, that'd be great. And Leora, we'll see you again.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. Thank you, Kimmy. It's been a pleasure.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Kimmy, you've got your big class coming up on flirting. So
yes.
Tell us.
I know. Can I tell you something really funny? I know we're ending the show, but it relates to the flirt class. Like as Leonora was talking, my client literally just texted me. And this is the client that I was talking about. Talk about like the synchronicity. This is the one who hadn't dated in so many years because of trauma that she had, and she couldn't like get moving. And we literally just, I launched her. So she got new clothes. She went for a photo shoot. She got her hair and makeup done, and she put herself on Bumble and Match. And she just texted me that she has her first date after 2 years. So she's so excited. She's like, I can't believe it. And really, I mean, that's the thing that happens. I mean, the reason why, again, I love this flirt class. If you missed my announcement before, I have a flirt class that's coming up in, oh my goodness, 1 hour and 45 minutes. So 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And it's for men and women. And if the word flirting like really scares you, definitely come, because after the class, you'll realize that it's not so scary, but it's really about your fears that's probably stopping you. So I love getting people unstuck and just putting yourself into action. So we're going to be doing a lot of exercises and movement around it. So again, you can find me, on social media, I'm pretty much at Kimmy Seltzer everywhere. You can sign up for my class if you go to eliteimagemake.com/flirting. You can sign up. I think are a few spots left, so grab that. And that's also my website, by the way. You can do kimmyseltzer.com or at eliteimagemake.com as well.
Brilliant. Thank you, Kimmy. We wish you a great, successful class, and congratulations to your clients. That's amazing. I'm sure there's a whole litany of people you have helped out there, and you will continue to do so.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. Well, and congrats on your book. And it's so exciting. And I love just being with you on this adventure in the name of love.
Thank you. And thank you for taking the ride with me.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Kimmy. Have a great evening and happy belated birthday, by the way. You were here for your birthday, and it's great I saw the pictures. It looks like you had a really nice time. So,
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I just an excuse to keep like going out and celebrating. Really.
why not? Go to
Exactly.
it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. I'll see you later.
I'll see you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, friends, that wraps our program up for today. This was our 5th show, and we've got 12 more this week. And announcing we do have 2 new shows. Woo! I can't say who they're with, but it's going to be fabulous. We're actually moving into different types of genres. So we, in addition to these 2 new programs, we're looking to go into 2 other areas. So if you're out there listening and you think that you might be a good fit as a co-host, we're looking to do a health show. So I'm looking for a physician, somebody who's in the medical field for that show. And then we're looking to do a show on politics. So if you are interested, go to drjacalyn.com, contact us. Okay, now I'm going to just do a selfish plug about my book. You heard a little bit before. I'm going to find the image. The book is called Behind the Green Screen. And if you're wondering what that is, behind me here is a green screen. So you're able to see these buildings because it's a virtual background that would not be possible without a green screen. The green screen is enormous. It goes all the way up to the ceiling. And I wrote this book because I wanted people to know a couple of things. The first thing is, if you are in a job, a career, somewhere in your life that you're not feeling fulfilled, but you're afraid to take the next step, whether it has to do with maybe it's leaving your home, leaving a relationship, leaving the stability or security of your job or your workplace, it's time to reevaluate. That's what I did. I worked with coaches and I realized that I had a great run in my career. I had a fabulous career. I worked with wonderful people, had the best clients, but things happened to me and it caused me to take pause and say, hey, is this really your lane? Are you really finding your passion? And so I decided to make a change. And 1 week later, the pandemic hit. So it was like, oh, timing. But I had consistent contingency plans, not thinking anything about a pandemic. And then in August of last year, I launched this platform. And for those that don't know, we started out on the radio, just on the phone. I was the one being interviewed. And then I decided that I no longer wanted to be interviewed. I wanted to be the interviewer. And so what did that look like? How do we go from being on the phone with me being interviewed to me being the interviewer, the executive producer, the director, and the broadcast engineer with 17 programs on 11 platforms, soon to be 20 programs. So that's in the book. I give you a step-by-step how you can do a live broadcast. This is not a podcast, okay? This show becomes a podcast later, but as you saw, this is live. Anything happens, this green screen falls down, the sun starts to set, and it turns my screen white. It's live. That's all. You can't, there's no editing. And everything for a live broadcast is scheduled. All my shows are scheduled out in advance. The business show is booked till the middle of November. So that's what the book is about. You don't have to have any interest in broadcasting whatsoever. If you're a person that's interested in my journey, maybe getting to know a little bit about me, B, if you are a woman who's in the workforce, or C, if you're somebody who just wants to think about making a change in their life, this is for you. If you are interested in becoming a broadcaster on a live stream, this book is for you. So again, here's the image. It's $19.99. It's a paperback book. It's available now on Amazon. All you have to do is put in Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck and you will find it. Thank you again for being here. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We have 5 shows tomorrow, starting at 12:30 with It's Your Stage. So we hope that you'll join us. Until then, be safe, be kind, and remember to love yourself in the name of love. Bye.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
when I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Homes for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.